People of the internet, Joe Rogan is in the Epstein files, and we're going to learn all about it right meow. Now, I want to start with this section from an article in Yahoo Sports. It says, Jeffrey Epstein also tried to buddy up with Joe Rogan, reaching out to theoretical physicist and cosmologist Lawrence Krauss after Krauss appeared on the Joe Rogan Experience in 2017. Now, Epstein saw this episode and then contacted Lawrence Krauss. Now, you may be wondering who Lawrence Krauss is. I believe he's at ASU in the cosmology department, but he is named in the Epstein files as well. They have him participating in acts and also trying to cover up allegations that someone has against him. We'll look at that right here. In this email, it describes that, what they can do, what they can say. He's even told what not to say just to make things, easier to defend in this situation. And here we have Lawrence Krauss on the Joe Rogan show. A lot of people like this episode, and it got 3.4 million views in 2017. Now let's look at the emails. The first email from Lawrence Krauss sent to Jeffrey Epstein is titled Irma. And they mention in the emails something about that hurricane they had in 2017, and they talk about it a little bit, and then they get into Joe Rogan. So let's read it. Things are hectic. Sorry for not getting back to you earlier. Sorry to hear about the upheavals, but I know that you take these things in strides. I will reach out to Rogan. I think I have his email, or at least his producer's email. He lives and works in LA. Now, when I saw this email, a lot of things were going through my mind. Lawrence Krauss, Epstein sees the episode, contacts Lawrence Krauss because they party together, they have a relationship, and then Epstein asks Lawrence to reach out to Joe Rogan. Now, it just seems a little strange that Joe Rogan would be asked this in the first place, because you've got to put out some kind of vibe. You got to put out some kind of thing to let people know you want to be involved in these heinous acts, right? You want to be involved in these particular parties. Now, we can see that before. I've done videos on this already, that Joey Diaz hosted sex parties where Duncan Trussell and other Rogansphere members have attended. We also know that Joe Rogan was a partier. We have him on film. If you haven't seen that fight he had, I believe it was with Jenna Jameson's husband at the time and party. There's obviously more footage, but the one that sticks out in particular is Dave Chappelle taking him to Naomi Campbell's birthday party. And we know that Naomi Campbell and Jeffrey Epstein had a big relationship, and we all know about Naomi Campbell, right? So it left me feeling confused, because if you attend Naomi Campbell's birthday party, and it's going to be the biggest party of the year because it's her birthday, right? You know her relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and the things she's done and the abuse she's caused. It makes you wonder, what kind of party is this? And I don't specifically know the date, but maybe one of you could find out. Was that Epstein, Naomi Campbell party, was that before or after this? I think it was before this. So you get a sense that people know who Rogan is. They know his behavior. They know that he attends these parties. We have evidence that he attends these parties. We have evidence that they attend sex parties. So you ask yourself, well, then maybe Lawrence Krauss also knew this. He's going to these parties with these highfalutin people. Maybe Lawrence was at a party with Joe somewhere. And we'll find more about that now in the next mention of Joe Rogan here. It says, once again, Irma, 2017, it says, good, I would have been worried otherwise. You have never seen devastated by anything as far as I know. So I didn't want this to be a first. Houses, of course, can be rebuilt, as you seem to do regularly, even without hurricanes. Once again, mentioning the hurricanes. And it said, sorry about Rogan so far. He seems more timid than I would have thought. Now, if you read the article and you don't read the emails, it says Joe Rogan turned him down. And you go, good, we have evidence now. But Lawrence, and knowing that Joe Rogan has attended sex parties and these things in Hollywood, Joey Diaz hosted one, and he describes it. I have a video somewhere. It's like way back, and he describes it. And it wasn't, he didn't say Rogan flat out turned him down, said a hell no. He said timid. You know, what does timid mean? It doesn't mean you don't want to do something. You're just really shy. You're reserved. You know, you hold back a little bit. That's timid, right? So it just makes me wonder as people go through these documents or a side effect to this Epstein things is other scenes. And it'll be at the point when justice gets served or some form of justice gets served, and these people that have experienced similar things and been made victims, more stuff is going to come out once this thing goes further, and hopefully we get accountability. If there's some form of accountability, it's going to give more people to come out, and I think there might be a revolution in this country because it turns out that it seems like everything that runs our leadership, that runs all these corporations, that runs all the global economy, it seems that everyone is involved, and it appears that they're in everything. I didn't think we lived in a world, and you could call me naive, but I just hope people were better than that, and turns out they're not. So this leaves me more questions with Rogan. And it would be interesting, I think it could be before, but it would be interesting to find out the date of that Naomi Campbell party. Or, because if it was before, that could be the party that introduced Rogan to this group. And maybe Epstein wasn't. I would think Epstein would be there, which would make it, more conclusive if it was after, because it turns down, but then Dave Chappelle gets him to go to Naomi Campbell's birthday, and that's where he meets Epstein. It's going to be interesting because not many news outlets or anybody have caught on to this yet. And when I first read it, it seemed like a flat out no, and I was, hey, good for Rogan. He turned it down. I was wrong. But I was right. He was in the Epstein files, and it seems that he was nervous about attending. It wasn't a no, I don't want to attend. It just seems that he was reluctant for whatever reason. So there you have it. This is what has been found so far. If there's more, I'll let you know. But I wanted to tell you, I called it. I waited till the end, so people that just wanted to watch the news, but for you that made it to the end, don't doubt my spidey sense. It's better than Miss Cleo, and Joe Rogan, in fact, is in the Epstein files. Maybe not how you thought, maybe not how you wanted, but there's something here. There's something here, and it seems that Joe Rogan has participated in. This is just an opinion. It seems that Joe Rogan, from all the sex parties, and you can also see that how they treat women at the comedy mothership, how they're dismissive of people, how they're racist, how they like to humiliate people. It makes you wonder if Joe Rogan participated all in these parties and these sex parties and these things like that, and the group he hangs out with, and that's not more, just listen to Joey Diaz. He's told 20 stories of how he's treated women horribly. And that's one of Joe Rogan's good friends. You look at Ari Shaffir. I have a video where Ari Shaffir pulls out his male part during a Kill Tony show, and he puts it on a pregnant lady in front of her husband and says, your baby touched its first. These are the people that hang out with Joe Rogan. These are the things he does. These are the things he has funny. He can tell you everything, but just go to his club, and the atmosphere there says otherwise. There are tons of podcasts where they talked about women, especially in those Ice House Chronicles, Joey Diaz, all of them go off. They say, I've watched about 30% of them, and I've got most of the stuff that I found on it, but it's crazy. These are the people. And then you look his sudden switch to the conservative party, the movement, and now Joe is just an unapologetic conservative Christian. If you look at the episode before Bert Kreischer where he had the guy that can't open the pickle jar on, he talks about his Christianity and why he likes Christians and everything, like more in depth than he has before, and why he likes the church. He says he's the nicest people ever. Obviously, he hasn't gone to church, has he? There's a reason why all those mega pastors turn out fucking wacky as shit and accused of a lot of crime, but that's a whole nother episode. I just have a feeling about this. And the thing is it's everywhere. It's everywhere. There's people on YouTube. I thought YouTube would take those people down if they were accused of such things, but apparently they don't. Accused or proven to do those things, but apparently they don't. They're everywhere. And I don't even know. I mean, soon we're going to have to, every YouTube person, every movie, we're going to have to run it through a database to see. You know? This world is getting wild. And it's just kind of funny how Joe Rogan went conservative Christian and fell in line with Trump and all those people. Around the same time, all these Epstein files started getting crazy. It's funny, and maybe COVID, here's the thing to think about too. Maybe COVID was the great excuse to make Joe Rogan's switch seem natural. Because if you look at 2017, you can see why Joe Rogan is hesitant. If I was looking into Joe Rogan's mind and seeing his thoughts, I would think, well, Joe Rogan is on the rise. You know, that was when he was like peaking, right? Just peaking. He could do no wrong. He was the everyman. He had that image. Now, if he was thinking, right, if I go to this, how does that hurt my everyman image? How does that hurt me if this comes out? And he seems hesitant, but he attended all these other parties. And I don't know if they're like Epstein's, but they were sexual in nature. And we have film of them at them. So it's not like, you know, it's irrefutable at this point that he attended some of those things. I mean, Jenna Jameson. Does everybody remember Jenna Jameson? She was huge in like the 90s for being an adult film actress. And I look at Joe Rogan's friendship circle, and then you have to look like Joe Rogan worshipped, still does, Elon Musk. That's a connection, a direct connection. We've seen what's come out, Elon Musk, and they've all denied it, right? And then you look at Elon Musk, that's a direct connection to Richard Branson. We've seen his photos, and he's in the Epstein files. He's had Donald Trump on. That's the best connection to Epstein. We've seen all these people that have ties to connection on there. Look at Peter Attia. How many episodes did Joe Rogan do with Peter Attia? So my other question is Lawrence actually went to Joe Rogan and talked about this because he said he was timid. So this was like a conversation he had with Joe Rogan. And I wonder if all these people like Peter Attia, they all have direct connections. They all kind of felt out Rogan. They got to know him. It's probably more so Peter Attia. Because Peter Attia was on a lot. And Joe Rogan, oh, Peter Attia. Now look at, has Peter Attia been on in a long time? It's just a little crazy, guys. I mean, this is only the beginning. But it's kind of crazy that I was right, and he's in there. And it's not, I mean, it doesn't I mean, if Joe Rogan was reluctant, or you could read Timid many ways, but it doesn't seem like a flat out no. But that's what I got so far, and I'll keep you up to date on more soon. But hey, Joe Rogan, Epstein files, it happened. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. Now, people ask for t-shirts, and I'm just making new ones when I feel like it. There's no rhyme or reason, but you could get your People of the Internet shirt today. Please help support the channel. It helps buy me joints. Don't stay.